All right, folks, what is happening? Welcome to the Dangerous Liberty Podcast, where we know the only thing more dangerous than liberty is the lack thereof. We have a fun show for you tonight. It's a minor miracle that I got this thing up running. I literally pulled up here about 30 minutes ago. I was supposed to get here like 4 or 5 hours ago, but it just didn't work out that way. I want to say hi to everybody. Jeff Hahn's not going to make it. He's out there playing with Bulls balls. Mike Hen, good to see you. Jason's sponsor, John Esmond, Willie Everett. Man, I'm excited about this weekend. We still got a lot of work. We've put in a lot of work the last few days. Me and Summer both been running about 20-hour days, and we still got some work to do. But it's going to be a good time this weekend. It's going to be a good show tonight. I'm going to try to kind of show you give you a little tour of this place. And you guys, we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to tonight. So, you know, whatever comes up, you guys throw it up there, kind of a free-for-all Wednesday for you guys. I will say, folks, I have a very, very special guest. I just happened to run into this person. This person needs no introduction. I think, well, you know what? We'll just bring him on right now. Look at this guy right here. All right, so let me unmute this thing over here. How about that? Can you get? Yeah, you're right. You're right. And screwed it up. You know what? We're just stationary right here. I will screw this up royally, even worse than I just did. All right. So we're out here at Pigg River Precision. And those of you that show up this weekend and going into next week, if you haven't watched our video on the XP Long Range Academy, we're give you of this place, you definitely need to go check that out. I keep hearing myself in my. I don't want to hear me. I know you guys don't either. So anyways, we got Jeff Johnson. Yeah. We got you, buddy. For MLA guys, get their feelings hurt. Really, Colson. Who else? Willie Everett. We got you. Are you guys still getting the echo? Let's try that. There we go. All right. So we'll just keep it to one device here, because I clearly can't manage 2 devices. Dooley, it's good to see you. Cat Dad, Ted Boyette. Who else we got in here? We got Roy Nexus. There we go. For those of you that are just tuning in, make sure you say hi. We are going to keep this fairly short. I'm not going to be out here too long. I got a lot of stuff to do. I got a whole trailer over there to unpack. We got that over there. Well, I'll be honest with you, Jason. Summer is not the go-to person when it comes to the tech. Usually either Jason and or Sean. Those are my tech guys. Jeff Johnson says, so since you screwed up over the MPA by selling it too fast, I bought a different barreled action. I'm not happy. Well, Jeff, you're an MOA guy, so there's really nothing that's going to make you happy. Disgruntled is your state of being, so I'm not worried about that. What else we got going on out there? If I'd have gotten here a little bit sooner, folks, I'd have pulled out all the rifles. We got 9 rifles set up inside the trailer. One of those is a client that's coming out, John Coleman. I don't know if you're on here, but he'll be out here on Friday. We got his rifle set up just in time for the Long Range Academy, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Ray's actually on his way. He's about 2 hours out, so he'll be getting here. And he and I are going to do a little bit of setup tonight, but I think we're just going to do a quick overview. Make sure we got everything. We've dotted our I's, crossed our T's, but it's going to be a good weekend. Got catering lined up for you guys that are coming out this weekend. So it's going to be a good week. Ted Boyette, summer helped me today a lot. Customer service is great. New BR soon. Good for you, Ted. What else we got going on out there? I've been so kind of focused on getting everything ready for this weekend that I really haven't paid much to the news. Not that there's anything worth talking about for the most part. We got a lot of craziness going on. I was on the phone with a customer right before I pulled up here, and we were talking a little bit about that. Jeff says, Summer ignores my email, then Gary answers at 9 p.m. when all the stuff she said at 8 p.m. That's how I roll, Jeff. The dog will be out here tomorrow afternoon. So we'll definitely, I don't know that we'll do a live stream or anything like that, but you guys are going to see lots of footage, lots of video from this weekend. I'll try to post as I go throughout the training. So yeah, we'll get you guys a lot of content that has a lot of the what we got going on out here. It's gonna be fun. Apple River trial. Jeff, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know about the Apple River trial. Somebody clue me in. Just says how they convicted the old man is scared. Oh, so you're talking about I didn't see it. I haven't looked at the news. I was following that. So I guess you're talking about the rancher down in Texas. Apparently he was convicted. I know that I think the last I had seen was a day or two, and the jury was deliberating. If that is the case, that is a damn shame for sure. I don't see us doing any long range at Peacemaker. We may do some kind of mid-range carbine courses. Peacemaker's a lot of fun to shoot. If we do any other courses at Peacemaker, it'll be level 3. That is not a place where you are going to learn to read wind. For our level 2 guys that come out here, we're going to, and especially for those of you that have attended level 2 in the past, the biggest thing that you guys are going to get out of this week is we're going to go into a lot of detail on wind reading. We're going to do lots of practical exercises regarding wind, and we have the facility where we can do it. One of the big things, the best way to call and read wind is using Mirage through your optic. And you got to get some practice doing that. And one of the things that we're going to do, one of the exercises that we're going to do is we're going to be going down range. We're going to make sure everybody's bolts are removed, all that good stuff. But you're going to learn to read the wind using Mirage. We're going to have a guy at targets and midway at targets, both with Kestrels, and you're going to be guessing that wind. We're going to call back with a wind call on that. And so that you can start to associate what you're seeing in the optic with the Mirage and what the actual wind is doing at not only the location of the target, but midway to the target. And obviously everything in between, it all matters, right? So this is a much more conducive, this training facility is much more conducive to wind reading. That's something that we just didn't have anywhere near us. That was the biggest, and honestly, obviously, the wind reading is the most important and the greatest skill when it comes to long range shooting. Hopefully, with a little bit of practice, everybody can get down behind the gun, apply the fundamentals, learn to keep those crosshairs on target when you squeeze the trigger. And obviously, a computer in your hand is going to give you your data, which is not the best way to do that. But any monkey can do those things. The real science, the real art, the real skill set behind long range shooting is learning to read wind. So that's what this facility does for us more than anything. What I do think we will probably do at Peacemaker is do some DMR courses and or some Level 3 courses, maybe. It's fun to shoot out there, but you're not getting a lot of training value just the way that place is set up. What else we got going on there? The old man that stabbed 5 people in the river. No, I didn't see that, Jeff. I'll have to catch up on that. Gen 2 HD, a good optic. Discovery. I haven't seen that optic. Oh, summer's here. Yeah. John, I definitely think that Pigg River's a little closer to you than Jason for sure. Oh, there's summer now. All the fun stops. Summer is anti-fun. No, she's not. Not at all. Yeah, so we got a busy weekend this week, and I was hoping to be able to take this device over here, take my phone, and be able to show you around the facility. I don't think that's going to be able to happen. You know what? Let's just go ahead and grab the computer. Why not? We'll walk and talk. We'll carry a computer around. Might as well keep this thing as interesting as possible. But I do want to show you kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly, some challenges that are out here. But most importantly, I'm going to show you what Pigg River is and what it actually gives us from a training standpoint. I will say the only challenging part about this running the course out here is the zero range. It is downhill. It is going to be a little bit tough. We do have benches over there. That's going to help. So if you're going to be shooting, it's going to make your back hurt to be on the benches. One thing I forgot. Let me go over here. And then I'm going to take you guys up over to the main range over there. And let me go ahead and get rid of this comment. We can't keep your comments up too long, Jeff. But then I'm going to take you over there to the main range and show you guys what exactly we're going to be able to do from there. Let me go ahead and grab my phone. We're just going to get out of there. But the zero range is a little bit of a challenge. I'm going to show that to you guys real quick so you can see it while I carry a computer around this facility like a moron. You guys are used to that too. Let's see. I'm going to answer questions as we go through here. John Thomas, I would love to learn how to do long range shooting the right way, and it would be great if I could come out there, take some of your classes, because I will say I am not a bad shooter. Yeah, you know, just trying to learn long range on your own is definitely the wrong way to go about anything, right? Shooting period. You can reach to you can get to a certain point, but then you start getting things, I think, a little bit out of context. Start reading things, you start applying the wrong principles. Start applying the wrong principles in the wrong locations, right? And I see that a lot when I'm talking to people on the internet, when we're having different discussions, different arguments online. And I'm telling you right now, we will deliver the curriculum in a way that makes sense, that is, productive, so you have a good foundation and then you move on to more advanced stuff. But this is the zero range right here. Nice covered area. And then down there at 100 yards, we have the targets over there. Let's walk up to the main range area. Jeff says, summer while Gary is walking, tell us all the moron stuff he does. Jeff, the list is long. I'm sure whatever I could come up with, Summer could double that list by quite a bit. What's the elevation here? Nothing like it's going to be in Wyoming, buddy. I have to pull out a Kestrel. I have that written down somewhere. Last time we were out here shooting, we got density altitude, but I don't remember that specifically. There's the back of the trailer. Ray's going to be here in a couple hours, and he's going to unload that entire thing himself since I loaded it all. So over here, they keep a bunch of different obstacles, things to shoot off of. But you'll see that they already have a lot of stuff built into the firing line as it is. I'm going to talk a little bit about one of the most unique and the best things about this facility when it comes to actually running courses out here. The way that the firing line is set up, it really is perfect so that everybody's not on top of each other. I'm sure you guys are probably getting some wind. I apologize for that, but this is what happens when you're walking around with a computer. But the way this is set up, it's going to allow us to essentially have up to 4 different firing lines with 4 students each and 4 separate instructors with enough separation. And that's not even including some of the different obstacles and barriers that you can shoot off of. We got the 4 different firing lines, and there's enough separation so that you're not talking over each other. You are not talking on top of each other, and everybody can hear their instructor. So you don't have like 10, 15 guys like we've had that do in the past, kind of squeezed in together. Try to show you guys. We got a 5-ton over here. We'll walk through the tick-infested landscape here. I'm joking. But they did freshly mow everything for us. The facilities here are just impeccable. We don't have full bathrooms, but the porta potties are always serviced, ready to go. We're going to have food delivered out here. That is included in the price of admission. And there's one obstacle you guys can see. And I know you're not going to get a lot of clarity on the range portion, but this is, we can actually go inside of this Connex. We have portholes to shoot from over here. And then of course, downrange, you guys can see we can shoot all the way out to 1200, maybe a little bit further, 1300 or so, depending on where we put the targets and where we have the students. But you can see up here, folks, there's a whole line of other obstacles and barricades to shoot off of. You can see right here, these are going to be the shooting lines, but we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 with, there again, you got about 20 yards in between each one. So I really like this to be able to give a very small class feel to everybody shooting out here. So that's going to be much better than some of the facilities that we've had to use in the past. And I do, yeah, it's just going to be much better, without a doubt. All right, let me sit this down and answer some questions. Tired of walking around anyhow. All right. Let's see. John Thomas, one thing that I don't like about here in Kansas, we don't have any places to go to get out past 100 yards. And that really is getting old when you like to shoot, when you would love to get out to 500 or more. It's a challenge for everybody. You know, the fact that we have several long range facilities that you can get out to 1,000 yards or more, is a really nice, you know, we're really spoiled. Any thoughts on 6 GT or 25 Creedmoor for long range out to a mile? Well, Steve, those are not mile-long cartridges. I mean, that's just not what they're built for. I have to look. I don't know that much about 25 Creedmoor, but I can just tell you right now that it's not what that's built for either. If you're wanting to shoot a mile, you can do it with those. I don't doubt that eventually, but you are definitely transonic with 6 GT. I have to look at the ballistic tables of 25 Creedmoor, but you're transonic, if not subsonic, at a mile. You know, if you're really wanting to shoot a mile, that's where 7 PRC, 300 PRC, that's where those cartridges really start to shine, much more so than, you know, 6, even 6.5. Yeah, basically, you know, what Jeff Johnson's alluded to here is, yeah, eventually you can hit a target at a mile with those. You're gonna have zero energy. You probably won't even be able to see your impact, even with a high-powered spotting scope. You know, can you do it? Yeah, it's definitely not the best option. Yes, me and Ray have shot at this range. We got a video showing us shooting at the range. Ray's actually shot a couple of matches out here as well. But yes, we've definitely shot out here. Not that I can hear. You know, folks, one of my since we're talking about ballistics, I actually had ordered a 7 PRC rifle with a second barrel of 300 PRC. You can turn that around however you want. A 300 PRC rifle with a 7 PRC rifle, just for that, like extra long range, right? Extreme long range. It's really not ELR, but we're starting to get there. But I wanted something with a little bit more legs and a little more energy, shooting beyond 1,000 yards. And man, I gotta tell you, 7 PRC and 300 PRC are kind of the way to go. If you haven't looked into those rounds, I would suggest it. So I had ordered one of those, and it came in, I didn't know, and then Summer sold it out from under me to somebody else. So she got me good on that one. But I got to order another one. Clients come first. And you know, it is what it is. Steve Rose, we're leaning towards 7 PRC, but 1 mile range. CEO suggested that those calibers max range goes out to 2,300 yards. 1 mile range, CEO. He suggested 6 GT for 1 mile. That guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Break contact. Again, I haven't looked at the 25 Creedmoor ballistics. I don't know that much about that round, and I'm not going to pretend to. Yeah, 300 PRC. Man, 300 PRC is a round that I think everybody should own. If you were ever interested in 300 Win Mag or anything like that, 300 PRC is the updated, modern, better version of 300 Win Mag. It's a do-it-all round. You're not going to go shoot. I mean, you can go shoot PRS with it, but it's going to have a little more recoil than obviously some of the 6 Creedmoors. Look, if you're shooting PRS, NRL, PRS especially, you know, most guys are shooting a 6mm round just to mitigate that recoil. You're getting a little flatter trajectory. You're getting a lot less recoil. So that's what they're going with. 300 PRC is that fun round that you can do anything with. You can go hunting with. You can hunt anything in North America with it. It's just a great all-around round to have. It's going to do it all. It really will. So if you're thinking about, if you want something that has a little more energy than something like 6 Creedmoor, 6.5 Creedmoor, 6.5 PRC, you know, think about 300 Win, 300 PRC. I think it's the way to go. If you want something just a little bit more, but you want to stay with a short action, 6.5 PRC is a freaking awesome round too. So, you know, those are some good choices in my opinion. Scott, Paramount long range courses are hands down my favorite courses. Yeah, Scott, we got to get you out to some of our. Scott had attended some of our courses several years ago. They were great. I put those courses up against just about anything that's being taught in the country. That being said, we've improved a lot since then, not only on the curriculum, but also on obviously this facility too. But even without the facility, again, we're making the courses better every single year. 300 Win Mag are not fun to shoot. Not a fan, especially in a hunting round. So I will tell you this right now, and this is a conversation I've had just recently with someone. 300 PRC is a much softer round, has more energy, doesn't make a lot of sense. It has a different recoil pulse than 300 Win Mag. It's definitely easier, especially you throw a brake on it. If you guys haven't seen it, there's a video where we're shooting some dummies with body armor with 300 PRC. Noah, at the time, he was 8 years old. He shot a full box of 20 rounds with that 300 PRC and no issues. He wasn't sore. That gun didn't, you can even watch the recoil on that gun. It just doesn't move. So you set the gun up right. And I'm not saying have a super lightweight hunting rifle, but if you have a long range rifle that is going to be a little heavier, you know, somewhere around the 15-pound mark, you put a adequate brake on that thing and you're going to be surprised and shocked at how little recoil that thing really does have. Thick long action cartridges for ELR, 7 SAUM, 6.5 PRC, 300 Winchester short mag would be some of the few exceptions. So, yeah, I see what you're saying, Richie. I'm trying to walk and reading comprehend at the same time. Yeah, long action cartridges are definitely the way to go with ELR. If you're wanting to shoot consistently at a mile or beyond, long action is definitely the way to go. Yeah, folks, you know, I mean, I'm sure most of you know. If you don't, you need to. I know we end up doing a lot of long range content, but, you know, we have tactical carbine courses, handgun courses, med courses, all of that stuff. So, you know, come down, spend a week with us, catch a couple courses on the weekends. Go see, you know, we do all the other guns just as well as the long range. Don't do as long range. I know some people might get that perception given our content tends to focus on that. And that's what people like the most, to be honest with you. That's the content that we see get the most views. I definitely am very passionate about long range. It's a lot of fun. But, you know, I like shooting everything from handguns, carbines, you name it. And you guys will see all that stuff on our channel regularly. Yeah, so Fraser Lord said, last time I was watching you live, asked about long range scope. I pre-ordered Leopold Mark IV, 8 to 32 scope, $1,000 cheaper than Mark V and other comparables. I'd have to look up, I'd like to see what the objective lens, the tube diameter of that is. As a matter of fact, we'll just look that up right now. Mark IV, 8 to 32. So, you know, you really do have to get down in the details of optics when you're comparing prices, comparing all these things, right? So right now I see that the retail on this at Leopold is $1,599, so $1,600. Let me look at the features here, specifications. I'd like to see what this objective lens is. So we do have a 56 millimeter objective lens. Looking for the tube diameter. I don't see that right now. And of course, glass quality. I mean, you know, that's where a lot of people cut corners, is glass quality. And I hope that's a great scope. I have no experience with that. So hopefully it works out perfectly for you, man. Driving course are also great. Yeah. There's not too many places in the world where you get to come and wreck cars. You get to ram vehicles. You learn to, with our off-road vehicle courses, you're going to take those trucks, and they're basically Jeeps. You're going to take those Jeeps in places you never thought you'd be able to get a vehicle up and down. So it's pretty amazing what you can do with a little bit of knowledge and skill. Yeah, I do know that the new 8-30, I do know that the Mark IV 8-32 is a newer optic, Jeff. But yeah, we were using Mark IVs back in the early 2000s. We actually had some of the Mark IVs at one time. But we had Vari X3s and a couple other ones on the teams. And then we also had Night Force. The Night Force, I think it was the Beast at the time that replaced the Vari X3s, the Leupold Vari X3s that we had. We'll see. Kurt, I haven't shot. Well, that's not true. I did last time that Ray and I were out here shooting content, I shot the 6 Max. I do think it's worth the hype. I actually just got my own 6 Max rifle in the other day. We had 3 of them that we just got in. I haven't even advertised them. We sold one. And by the way, for those of you guys, the Lost Boys over on Rumble, I haven't even looked at you guys over there, so I apologize. It's hard for me to do when I'm managing all this stuff. But anyways, so yeah, I do think the 6 Max is worth the hype. As a matter of fact, I believe his last name is Cook. I know his first name is Brian. Ray put me in contact with the developer of the 6 Max. I plan on having him on the podcast, not next week, but the following Wednesday. So if we can make those things work out, we're going to get him on here and he can answer some questions for you of why he came up with that. I do think that it does everything that 6 Arc does a little better. I like the fact that we have a standard bolt, that we don't have thinner bolt face walls that are blowing out and people are having troubles with that. Generally speaking, we seem to, at least with the initial experience, Ray has one. He's put a lot of rounds through that one. Both he has a short barreled one and a 20-inch barrel one. I know he shot a competition and came in like 2nd overall. So I think the 6 Max is worth it. And I do know we got Sons of Liberty and a couple other companies that are investing heavily into it as far as guns. In a way, I'm seeing industry support for 6 Max in a way I haven't seen with some of these other 6 millimeter small frame AR rounds that have come out over the past years, you know, whether we're talking about Grendels and everything else. I do think it has less problems than some of the other ones in the past. So yeah, I do. I think it's gonna be worth the hype. I'm gonna be building that gun out. I have it's a Sons of Liberty broadsword that I just got in 6 Max. I already know what optic I'm gonna put on that. I already know how I'm gonna have that set up. I already got a trigger picked out for that. I'm going to show you guys that build. I'm going to shoot a video on that. And then we're going to run that thing through its paces. We're going to run it hard, both short and long distance. And we'll see how it all pans out. But I haven't tested them out personally, which is why you don't see them on the website. You know, we did have a client that when I was talking about it on the podcast the other day, he came in the store. He said he wanted one. He's like, hey, I haven't personally tested this yet. He's like, hey, it's good to go. So, you know, with that being said, he bought that one, and I have another one in reserve, but I'm going to be running that 6 Max hard. And we are going to be teaching some DMR courses out here, so I think that is a great platform to run it on. What else we got here? Hey, Gary, I just got a Seiko TRG 22A1. I was wondering what your thoughts are on which scope would be best. Well, what distances are you going to be shooting with that? What caliber is that gun in, Pat? All of those things. So give me a little more information on that. Look, man, there's a reason that I carry Zeiss now, Night Force, and Zero Compromise. If you want the best of the best, Zero Compromise. I haven't looked through an optic, tested an optic that is anything. And when I say anything close, look, when we're talking about one optic is better than the other, almost all those are marginal differences or improvements. But with that being said, I think when you take the totality of what Zero Compromise offers, the improvements are small, but there's a lot of them, and they're in the right spots to where I think it's a huge improvement over X, Y, Z, or whatever else you want to talk about. I've looked through some tangent thetas. I was not impressed with tangent thetas. I do think those, and there's a, Schmidt and Benders. Man, I've never been impressed with Schmidt and Benders. We've gotten some of their really expensive optics onto our guns. When I was still in special operations, those didn't last. They just weren't durable. So we went right back to Night Force. So, if you want to know what my opinion is about what I've used, what I've tested, what I've come across, even with, I'm lucky enough to see a lot of different optics, different gear on clients' guns, on top of everything else that we constantly order and test. You're not going to go wrong with Zeiss, the S3 or the S5. You're not going to go wrong with a Night Force attacker, whether it's the 5-25 or the 7-35. I do think that the 7-35 optically is better than the 5-25, and not just because we have more magnification. I more or less got confirmation that they use different glass in those two guns, those two optics. So if you want to know what I know is a safe bet, and not like I want to roll the dice, save a little money, and maybe get a good optic. A safe bet, without a doubt, is always Zeiss, the S3 6-36. That is a hell of a bargain, what you get for that optic. You're not going to go wrong with a Night Force attacker, especially the 7-35, and then you're not going to go wrong with Zero Compromise. And, those obviously aren't the cheapest scopes available, but what I can tell you is they're going to perform. What else we got? Got my Bergara BMP 6.5 crude with APW muzzle brake and a Vortex Strike Eagle 6x25-56. Good to 1 mile. All the best from Denmark. Hey, great, Mike. Thanks for coming out here and joining us from Denmark. TAC 30 action Krieger barrel 6.5 Creedmoor on ARCS 2.0. Gave the dude 1,800 for the whole thing. 0 rounds in the action barrel. So even though Summer sold my rifle, I'm okay. Well, good for you, buddy. ZCO 5-25. I mean, it's hard to beat the ZCOs. Just all the features. We did have some issues with the turrets locking up. As a matter of fact, Bravo 4 Solutions brought his gun in. We looked at it. He sent it back. It's been fixed. I tried to get it answered, to be honest with you. So there is a disconnect between like our dealer reps that we deal with and the engineers. And this is very common, by the way, in optics companies, period. Like very rarely, for whatever reason, they have, this compartmentalization of the engineers and then dealer reps or the guys that are in sales, marketing, and all this other stuff. You can never, I guess they feel like so much of that, anything they say just about is going to end up being proprietary information, or they're concerned about that. So long story short, I was trying to get information on, Bravo 4 sent his rifle in, or his optic in, to get fixed. They fixed it, and I was trying to get information back, like, hey, what did they fix? What was going on? And that information never came. 6.5 Creedmoor and maybe 1,000. Man, just depends on your budget. You want to go all out. You're not going to go wrong with a Zero Compromise 5-27 or a Zero Compromise 8-40. If you want to stay under 3,000, I think that Zeiss S3 6-36 is just a great value. And right now, they're doing a couple things. Number one, they're running a special right now. If you buy an S5, which is their top tier, it's like almost a $4,000 optic, you get a free $2,000 set of binos. So you can take those binos, sell them for, if you want to go crazy, sell them for $1,000. Or if you keep them, you have a great set of binos. So Zeiss is running that special. The other thing that we're doing is for every 20 Zeiss optics that we sell, we're giving away one free course. So Zeiss is sponsoring us on that, and so that's some additional information for you that may push you one way or the other. But Zeiss, Night Force, and Zero Compromise. I'm not saying there's not great other companies out there. There are, but I know. Here's my big thing. Number one, I want to know that you get a quality piece of kit, that your warranty is good, and that the company is good. I've seen and I have had opportunities to get other optics in that were good optics. But I wouldn't want to deal, you start looking in their customer service record, and it's not who I'd want to deal with. Number one, you see a lot of complaints, so that means we're having quality control issues, optics are breaking, and then people aren't getting the resolution they want. And that's not where you want to be. You don't want to save, you don't want to walk around thinking, hey, I saved $1,000, but in 6 months your optic's not working, and now you don't have a warranty that's being covered, or maybe it doesn't have a warranty or whatever else. So, if you see it on our website, if you want to know what we recommend, go to our website. Go search through our website. That's what I'm going to tell you that I recommend, because I know the deal behind that. Hey, look, man, Night Force are always going to, they're awesome optics. The tracking has always been impeccable on those. The durability, I think, is really almost probably the proven durability. I don't know for a fact if Zero Compromise is as durable or not. I've never beat one up to that extent. And at $3,000 an optic, and I pay for my own optics, I get them at wholesale, sure, but folks, there's not much margin on those. So I may save a few $100 over what you do, but either way, if I go beat that optic all to hell, and maybe they'll still give me the warranty, I don't know. But if I'm dropping an optic from 20 feet, if I'm beating it up, if I'm throwing it out of windows, it's kind of ridiculous for me to expect them to fix something that I intentionally broke. But the durability may be just as good. I am convinced that the Zeiss durability is just as good, if not better, than the Night Force. After talking to them and knowing what the testing that they put those through, they actually take those optics and they put them in a machine. It has like 1,000 impacts or something crazy like that at 1,500 Gs each. So they beat those things up. And when you take those things apart, it is pretty crazy. There's not a piece of plastic on that thing or in that thing. So those Zeiss optics are extremely durable. And I'm telling you right now, I just can't stress enough. I think they're the best value at $2,500. And you can buy with confidence. No, don't get an MOA attacker. We all know that MOA sucks. Chris, we miss you, buddy. What's happening, man? You guys need to come out this weekend. Come down and say hi. You do get what you pay for. Exactly. There you go, Kurt. Tell him what's up. Jason told me to get an Arkin. I'll be mad at him until I die for that piece of advice. Hey, look, Arkins aren't bad for the money. I do think that overall they're one of the best budget scopes that you can buy. I owe the world a long-term review update on that Arkin EP5. We've had some issues with it for sure, and this is another company that I could be selling those optics, and at the $500 price point, I know that we would sell a lot of them, and that's what people want. And I still say that they're a good value for that money, but just understand, after a year of using them, you start to really see the differences between them and a Night Force or whatever else. With the initial use, with the initial review even, you guys, if you haven't watched my review on that, go check that out. I had a lot of good things to say about that. I did find that tracking was off by about 10% on the windage, which, by the way, Arkin had a real problem with me even showing that. But with that being said, we've had a lot of other issues with that. And, it's failed us when we didn't want it to say the least. Yeah, Vortex is another company that I would definitely, and we may even end up becoming a dealer for. They make great optics. There's I have nothing really bad to say about Vortex. Vortex makes and they make a long line of optics, everything from budget stuff to, high-end stuff with the HD Gen 3s. And so, you can't go wrong with Vortex either. And their warranty is legit. There's some things that I don't like about them, and there's a reason that we don't currently carry them because they weren't on my priority list. But I think you would easily see Vortex optics in the Paramount, either online or in our store. Buy once, cry once. That's what it's all about. Vortex Strike Eagle. So so the last time I did a lot of testing on the Strike Eagles and their PST line, once you start looking at their tracking capabilities, I had the one PST, and this is several years ago, and that's why I'm almost hesitant. It's long before we even had a YouTube channel. I had a Strike Eagle and a PST optic, and had major issues with both of those. So I don't know if they've updated those. I mean, I know they've updated the line. I know there's new models out. I just don't know what the quality control is on those. So take that for what it is. Jason says, I would buy a higher end scope, except some guy keeps tricking me into coming out to train. That's why I'm looking at the Leupold Mark 4 or 5. Yeah, nothing wrong with that, Jason. I wish everybody was like it. You will definitely get more out of everything if you invest in training first. If you ask me, Gary, I can either buy a zero compromise or I'm going to end up with a Strike Eagle, but I'm going to go take some courses. Folks, you'll get so much more out of the training. And I know I beat this drum all the time it's ad nauseum, but I can't stress it enough. Invest in some training, man. You'll get more out of that than the gear. Night Force NX8 is not a bad optic. Night Force, again, they're all great. There is a big difference. I will just tell you right now, there's a big difference between the NX line and the Attacker line. Nothing bad about the NX8s. They're great, super great. But there is a difference in overall quality, fit and finish, glass quality in the Night Force Attacker. But that NX8 is not going to hold you back in any way, shape, or form. And you can get them really cheap. I mean, you end up with a Night Force right there at the same price point of the Leupolds. I do think that the Leupold Mark 5 is on par with, I think the NX8 line and the Leupold Mark 5 are probably very comparable in overall quality. And they're comparable in price too, by the way. What else we got here? What's up, Rye? Hey, man, welcome. Normally, we kind of have some topics. Normally, we got a little bit more going on, but we're doing this live right from the range. What else we got going on? Says, I'm new to long-range shooting, have built a 6.5 impact action Bartlein barrel, purchased the cross-tack bag you recommend. Awesome. Hey, man, impact actions are amazing. I'm assuming that's a Bartlein barrel, and you got a great bag. So sounds like you're starting off with a extremely capable kit. Tangible upgrades for the Zeiss S5. You get better glass. That's the main thing. It is true shot glass. That is primarily what you're getting. So it is extremely good quality glass. And you can tell a difference in open mirage. The biggest thing to see differences in glass quality is you got to get out on a day that's hot, that has a lot of mirage, and that's where you're going to see the difference. You're going to see so much distortion in that. You're going to see the differences in distortion due to mirage. that's really what tells you everything you really need to know. There's some other things going on too, like, with on top of better glass, they probably have additional coatings. I know they do. I just don't know what those coatings are. But they put all these expensive coatings on there that will better handle making sure that you have good color contrast, that colors are staying natural looking, that will actually brighten and enhance the image. There's a lot additional lens protection coatings that will reduce, abrasion, things like that. So you are getting, I do think the S5 is worth the money, especially now. Right now, I would not hesitate to buy an S5 just because you're getting a $2,000 optic and $2,000 set of binos. So you either keep those binos, or what I would probably do is I would put them on eBay right away and auction them off, and you'd probably end up getting, $1,200, $1,300 out of them. You may not get full retail, but if it's brand new in box, you might get close to it. And so now you're potentially getting a $4,000 optic for $2,000. So I think that is the juice is worth the squeeze there. Rice says, I watched your review, might have missed it, but what glass is in the ZCO 5-25? It is shot glass. Actual German shot glass or European shot glass. Vortex strike heat on the barrier through 8. It's nice, but not as nice. Absolutely. And that's the thing, folks. Brittany's on here. Courses are everything. Do it. Brittany, we need to get you out of some courses. Look, man, at the end of the day, like, optics are getting so good, and you have such a great selection of optics now. Even some of these budget optics, I mean, they're as good as top tier optics were 10 years ago. There's no doubt about it. So, get an optic. I'm a long range guy. There's certain things, there's guys out there that are car guys that are whatever else, right? So, it is really nice. There's something special about the ZCO on my guns. I love my Night Force, but man, when I get behind the ZCO, you see a difference. There is no doubt about it. And you don't appreciate it until you're looking. And for instance, I was zeroing and going through all the student rifles, which have the S3s on them, the 636. And I was sitting there marveling, literally like, man, these optics are so good. The tracking's good. They're easy to adjust. They're easy to set the zero stop. All those things, the quality, the fit and finish on them are impeccable. They're great. And then I moved to my Night Force. I'm like, oh man, this is nice too. I do kind of feel like as I was shooting this weekend, and I was shooting in very different light conditions, I did kind of feel like the 6-36 was a little brighter. I didn't get down there and really play around with the image quality and really compare, but it did seem a little brighter, the image, versus the Night Force. And that was the 5-25, because I have a 5-25 Night Force on a student gun. So I was checking that over and making sure everything was good to go and getting it generally zeroed, so at least we're immediately on paper when guys get down behind the guns. But then I have a rifle that I wanted to make sure zeroed that had the ZCO 527. And man, as great as all those other optics were, that ZCO, I just love the turrets, I love the design, I love the features on it, and the optical quality on it is just impeccable. It's hard to beat. I don't know what else to say. And for those of you that are coming out this weekend, you'll have an opportunity to kind of get behind all the guns, and you may or may not see the difference. I think that, that's the other thing too, is like, if you're new to shooting and you haven't spent a lot of time looking through glass, you're probably not going to see that big of a difference. You're like, oh, well, that looks the same but as you become more accustomed to looking through glass, more attuned to what a good image looks like, you start to see what may start off as minor differences being pretty large differences. Yeah, Summer will do that. She'll take all your money. Yeah, I'm pretty much just putting random stuff on screen. Let's see here. Yes, Bobby, you need to get out there and go shooting, man. Yep, there it is, 100%. The glass is amazing in that S5. There's no doubt about it. I've got, it's amazing glass. What else we got up here? I looked through my shot glass, but the liquor burned my... It happens. Get out here, Brittany. We need to get you and the girls out to do some pistol courses. Yeah, and here's the thing. This is a great point, and it's something I've talked about in the past. Look, you can buy once, cry once on an optic, and then when you want something new, it's easy to switch out the rifle, right? And then you'll end up keeping that optic, and honestly, you can get a zero compromise, or really, again, you can get a zero compromise Knife Force Attacker or a Zeiss S3 or S5. And those three brands right there, specifically those optics, you can absolutely keep for a lifetime, and they will always be contenders, period. There'll always be quality glass, no matter what new things come out or whatever else. If you ever decide to upgrade those or get rid of those, that's because you decided to do it yourself. You wanted something else, right? You wanted the newest, latest, and greatest, not because you needed to. I will say that if you plan on doing any sort of competitive shooting and things like that, and you start off with a budget optic, you will, without a doubt, end up spending more money and buying a more expensive optic later on. And there's nothing wrong with that either, right? We go through that. Some of you guys are, when I was in the military, I wasn't buying, $4,000 optics. I was on, the most I ever made was an E7, right? So, dude, I was making like 60 grand a year. And Gary wasn't out spending a bunch of money on optics. I can promise you that. So depending on where you are in life, if you want to pursue this, spend what you can. But I do think that if you're smart, you'll invest in training. That's where you're going to see the greatest performance increases. But there's some guys that just like the gear, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just told me. Absolutely. You need to get out here and come train with us. No, it never works. I don't care who you are. I bet you Jerry Michelik's wife won't listen to Jerry Michelik. It just doesn't work. Training your wife is just doesn't work. Let's see here. Oh, if I'm going 1 mile with the ZCO, I'm going the 8 to 40, without a doubt. Doesn't mean I'm going to use all that magnification. As a matter of fact, Ray and I were just talking about this weekend. Is he has that 1 mile challenge going on, and all these guys are coming out with these crazy than good for them, because when you are looking at a target a mile, let me get that. When you are looking, that's a much better image, huh? Let's move so we don't have lights in the background. When you're looking at a mile, folks, you're going to see a ton of. You're going to see just a ton of mirage, and the more magnification you use, the more mirage you're going to get. It's just a fact. So, that's just the way those things work. So I would use the 8 to 40, and if you're shooting a mile and you're using over 25, probably you're going to have so much mirage that it's going to do you more harm than good. So just think about that. Let's see. 100%. We covered that. What's going on, Gary Shaver? I don't know if I've seen you in the comments before, but if I have, I apologize for not remembering you. And number two, welcome if you're new. What else we got going on? Rifles are aware. Absolutely. That's a great, Jeff, you're an MOA guy. You don't have it all together, but every now and then you have some pretty good words of wisdom. So even MOA guys can contribute to the conversation, believe it or not. And this is absolutely true. And this is the way that if you shoot a lot, you're going to see that essentially rifles, especially barrels, are disposable. I used to be in this category. And I laugh at guys that are now that talk about, I don't want to get this cartridge because it's a barrel burner. Well, man, barrels are like tires, bro. You're gonna be switching out barrels. If you are serious about shooting, Just start looking at a better analogy is barrels are like shoes. You're going to go through those things. If you want to be a runner, you're going to go through shoes. If you want to be a shooter, you're going to go through barrels, and you're going to go through rifles. Rifles, in general, I kind of look at them as disposable. I'll shoot them for a couple years, probably sell them, rebarrel them, or I might keep them. I don't know. But optics are one of those things that you're just going to keep forever. Or maybe you'll upgrade. You can keep forever. Please share my Facebook and content. My lawyer's office, Lawrence, has. Thank you. Well, we don't really share other people's content because I don't know who you are, buddy. Mark, what's happening, buddy? What else we got going on? Well, folks, yeah, maybe we'll do this another night while we're still out here. Maybe I'll throw up another podcast for us like Saturday or Sunday night. I don't know. We'll see. But you'll definitely be seeing lots of content from us out here. For those of you that are coming out this weekend, look forward to seeing you. Many of you guys, we've been talking for a long time. You've been on the podcast. In the comments, we've talked via email and maybe even phone, but it's really going to be nice to meet some of you guys in person. Yeah, and if you haven't been out here, make sure you sign up for some courses. Come train with us. And I'll tell you, for those of you guys that have taken our level 1, even our level 2 courses in the past, I would highly recommend you come take our level 2 courses out here. It's a completely different course, and we're going to get heavy into wind, and that's going to be a huge difference over what we've been able to do with the facilities in the past. So the curriculum's changed a lot. The course of the fire are going to be much more exciting. The giveaways, folks, obviously with this course, Top Gun, well, here's what's going to be on the prize table. You're going to get a Zeiss S3 6-36, your choice of Fat Boy tripod and tripod head, and a Accutac bipod PC5. So right there, that's almost $5,000 worth of prizes just in that. So a lot of cool stuff going on there, and we got more sponsors coming online too. So I promise you, come train with us. If you don't win a thing, you're going to walk away very pleased with the value that you got. If you do win some stuff, well, then you pretty much just got that much money off of training. But the training is going to go a long way. So anyways, a lot more pictures, a lot more videos to come from this weekend. Look forward to seeing you guys out here. If my wife's still on here, her and the kids are coming out Friday night. I'll have to send you guys some pictures of the puppy while he's out here too. I know you guys are all about that. But until next time, stay armed, stay ready. We'll talk to you guys soon.